We are live. Welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. Apologies are all around for the delay in the show this evening, but we had a very blessed day today. If you've been watching the show, you know that my mother-in-law was going through some cancer and cancer treatments and et cetera, but we were able to bring her home from the hospital today. So wife and I and my daughter just got back from the drive to the 3-point drive to get her home, and she seems to be resting and doing well. So apologies, and we are going to get at it, Bailey, because we had heck of a tailgate this weekend. Bailey's showing off his never lost a tailgate hoodie, and he is correct. We got a great show. We're going to celebrate not only a great tailgate, but another victory against the Tar Heels. It was senior night in the Valley, and it was a huge night. We had quite possibly, in my opinion, probably the best, if not the perfect tailgate. And we're probably going to have to put off our not fun list till Wednesday for time purposes. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys, Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true Forts, that's close. You see, I hadn't had time to settle in. At least, okay. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys, Fangirls is perfect for you. I've been working on saying rivalry week.
Cow now, brown cow.
Yeah, I messed up sports fan. Anyway, find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and all forms of social media. The Fun Fans is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
And this is for Melanie, James. Okay.
Of course.
Ruben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around with 2 locations in the upstate, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer, 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at rubensc.com. Rubens is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans.
That's awesome.
Hey.
Yeah, so Melanie, my wife Melanie, so she was at the tailgate this weekend, and that's what we're going, before we get into the game, we're going to talk about the tailgate real quick. And yeah, she said you should use your radio voice because Bailey was practicing. So there you go.
Don't forget about Diamond Edge Products, James. They're also a proud sponsor, and we'll talk more about them in just a few minutes.
Just a moment. We'll be back right after this message from the Fun Fans. All right. So first of all, the weather Saturday. It's mid-November, but we live in South Carolina. You can never tell. To me, it was the perfect weather. It was the perfect tailgating weather. As long as you had a little shade, it was great. You didn't think so? You didn't like the weather?
It's too hot.
It's
almost Thanksgiving.
It's too hot for November, but in general to be outside.
I like weather that does not require layered clothing. You either wear shorts and a short sleeve shirt, or you dress warmly. I don't like these days where I want fall to be fall. I want spring to be spring. I want winter to be winter. But I don't like these days where you're literally out there. It was pushing 80.
Yes,
easily.
In the sunshine.
Easily.
In the sun, easy. Well, I didn't chat. I mean, I did the shorts and short sleeve shirt, and I was fine. But it was great. So to me, thumbs up for the weather. There were super short lines at the Porta Johns. I don't know what the deal with that was, but that was awesome. That makes for a great tailgate. The food was on point. So it was it was gourmet sandwich day at the Fun Fans tailgate. And we don't have pictures. We're not much for taking pictures too much at our tailgate, but I brought some buffalo chicken sliders they're a little spicy, but they were good. Bailey brought these. They were a little spicy. Bailey brought these pork loin sliders. Tell us about the pork loin sliders, Bailey.
Well, I cooked the pork loin Friday night. I sliced it up and I put it in the middle of some King's Hawaiian rolls
and made a slider.
Right.
I mean, they were good.
Yeah, that was good.
And it was amazing how good a pimento cheese sandwich tastes by the end of the day. Yeah. It's kickoff time. 3:30 is definitely, we love 3:30. And it don't matter.
I'm okay with 3:30.
3:30. That's the perfect kickoff. And it don't matter if it's before the time change or after. 3:30 is the greatest of the great kickoff time. The ambiance. Now, if you're audio only, you got to check this picture out on YouTube. Well, heck, we got video on Spotify now. Just don't look down from your driving. If you're driving to your phone, But Bailey went out of his way, and we got some help from our friend Jim Mabry. He's an engineer. He's a party engineer. And look at the ambiance we had. I mean, we tailgated before the game, during the game, after the game. It was a great day. So
it was big time.
Big time. The emotion and the celebration of senior night, and we won't get into the pros and cons of meet me at the Paul, but I saw that Bailey went down on the field.
Good thing.
I saw the pictures. The field was covered. Right? I mean, it was covered.
Well, we actually got a penalty.
I heard.
Yeah.
They went out there a little early.
Look, man, I'm not going to go off on my rant. It's chaos down there. It's chaos. Something bad's going to happen.
We'll save that for another. We're being positive, Bailey. We're being positive about the
I had a great time on the field.
And it's a rare. I mean, it was the last game senior night.
Swanson, former podcast guest.
Yeah, so it was good. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the people at the tailgate is really what makes it. We had a good crowd. Bailey had some family. We had some extra friends. We had some old college buddies that brought some friends. So it was good to have a nice crowd. Like I said, my wife was able to go, and it was a really good crowd, and that just made it a great time. And, we won't really get into this, but just kind of throwing this out there, when we started this thing, we talked about how big a deal, this could be kind of a big deal. But we had the lead paralegal for the state attorney's office who was on the Murdaugh case at the tailgate Saturday. So we can't name her name or we'd have to shut down the internet.
I mean, my favorite answer was, I'm sorry, that's classified information. I'm sorry, that's classified information.
So it was hilarious because as soon as everybody found out,
boom, there was party.
There was no talk about football or anything else, but it was all about Murdaugh, however you say his name. So, but it was great. It was great, and I enjoyed it. And I hate that we're going to be waiting until next fall to do it all over again. But the reason we were there was to watch football, kinda. And the Tigers are on a roll. I hope everybody bought stock. When Dabo says you better buy stock, he was not lying. The Tigers looked pretty good Saturday. What do you think, Bailey?
I just rewatched it, and my favorite quote. RG3 is probably my favorite color commentator that does football games. He ran down the hill.
Relationship. I know.
He ran down the hill. All right, but he said that Will Shipley had more moves than a military family. Now, I got to remember that one.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
So, anyway, the game. Clemson held North Carolina to, 20 points?
Yes.
They had scored in 6 out of their last 7 games, over 40. They had the number one or the most passing yards of any quarterback and the most rushing yards of any running back. Those two guys were first. And it's only happened like 3 times in history that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they were good. They are good.
They are good.
I think Clemson, honestly, I mean, we made some plays. We had some breaks go our way. We made some hustle plays, which, hey, that I'm telling you, getting chased down like that at the goal line, it not only demoralized North Carolina, but it gave us a little bit of fire.
And I mean, he ran him down. He's not even, there's certain shots of that where Wiggins isn't even in the screen.
Right.
And then here he comes. He kind of
had to go around a person.
Yes. And so dude is fast. And then, he's done that before. I saw on some highlights this morning where he did that against Miami. So
yeah, now I will say this. I don't know who it was, and I apologize. I should know. The defensive back that tripped him up a little bit, like at the 3-yard line,
mm-hmm.
that saved the touchdown as well.
Yeah.
Because he got just enough of his shoestring to make him stumble just a little bit, and boom, the strip.
Yeah.
It finally
big
got
time
some breaks.
Defense.
Yeah.
Big time defense. And this is, okay, we've officially declared a rebuilding year. I'm officially declaring a tale of 2 seasons.
It's rebuilt.
Like you said, The
getting,
rebuilding. We're putting the roof on it now.
The trajectory is like going this way.
Yeah, it's literally a tale of two seasons because it's like you said, all the things that seem to be. It's like we couldn't play a game where anything that could go wrong would go wrong for Clemson, and now the other team is. I mean, if you've seen some of the, and I'm sorry, and if it makes somebody mad, you just gotta. You're not.
You gotta do that's not to get mad, right?
It's not to get mad because the whining out there that I've seen from, the North Carolina people. We know how you feel, but it's just like the breaks don't go your way all the time, and the breaks didn't go our way for half a season, and it's completely flopped. When you're turning the ball over and you're getting penalties, you're going to lose games, and trust us, that's how we lost 4. So, but it's nice to be on the winning end of that.
So I sat near several assistant coaches again yesterday. Just the ones who told us how terrible we were over and over and over and over and over. And my son got to sit next to me, and he got to say, wow, these guys really don't know what they're talking about. And I said, you're right. So let's just keep our comments to ourselves. But it's kind of like I tell you, when you get all mad in the first quarter of games.
You can't hold that one game again. I had a headache.
Hold up. And then I go out at halftime, and several of you are out there complaining. There's 4 quarters in a game. There's a long season. I had the worst single game performance I had ever had as a coach the year of COVID. We played during COVID. So the winter of 2020 and then 21. The first game we played, it was the worst I had ever had a varsity basketball team look in my life as a coach. And we ended up tying for the region championship because I get that Clemson won't, if you lose a game, oh my gosh, we're not in the national championship. We'll see we're doing this right now.
Yes.
All right. And I'm just telling you, we're not having this conversation next year. We're in the top 12 next year. No doubt.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing, it's funny what the listeners, one way to explain to the listeners about the people that sit around those seats, they're behind us. And Bailey and I literally had a conversation because I was saying, he must have his son with him because he's explaining the game as if he's explaining it to like a 7-year-old. But then we find out that's not the case.
No, it's a bunch of grown men.
It's a bunch of grown men, and they're explaining it. They're talking about the game like they're explaining it to a child, but it's kind of funny, actually.
One of them just, like, he's thinking about things, and it's just coming out of his mouth. Like, dude, just keep your thoughts to yourself.
Sometimes, people enjoy the game in different ways.
Yeah, I know. And I should not judge. I just do not watch football games like that. Like, I just sit and watch them. Because it's something different's going to happen in the next play or the next play.
I like getting excited. I like how we had the LL Cool J lookalike for our head referee. That was cool. The other thing that was of interest is the maple syrup smell that we've talked about before.
It's kettle corn.
Well, whatever it was, it had a little extra oomph to it, it seemed, yesterday as well.
We had the good wind. It was coming towards us. But when we went down onto the field after the game, we walked right by the kettle corn, and it is very strong right there.
Super strong. All right, well, Clemson's on a roll. North Carolina's a good team, but Clemson is better. And I'm biased, but I got to say it. We're the best 4-loss team in the country.
I don't know how they're not ranked. I really don't.
I mean, it don't matter. The rankings don't matter. But there is I don't care. No coach would honestly say that they wouldn't be, quote unquote, a little worried if they got matched up against Clemson. Mm. They would be. Oregon, Alabama, all of them. I'd play Michigan right now.
Well, I'd pick Clemson over Michigan. Clemson is now they're what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, but when you have this many young people playing,
yes,
no, they ran a stat on the game. Cade Klubnik played one game in high school that was decided by 10 points or fewer? One.
Yeah.
He won every game as a quarterback. He had 14 games in high school that were decided by 50 or more points.
Good gracious.
So he doesn't know, he's learning how to play in those situations. Because, man, when you've been a quarterback and the closest anybody is like, it's like being a Georgia quarterback. It's tight early, then they win by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, I definitely agree. It seems like the Notre Dame game started next season, and hopefully that'll carry through and start another streak for the Tigers. So other games of interest, the number one game, and we talked about this before, South Carolina beat Kentucky, and we weren't necessarily pulling for them, but that's what we felt like that would be in the best interest of Clemson for South Carolina to be playing for bowl eligibility come this Saturday. So good job, Gamecocks. Sorry, I don't know how Kentucky, it was a close game. And we'll talk more about that later, but we're proud of them for that, for helping us out like that.
Cox are 5-1 at home.
Well, and see, Clemson like 1-3 or something on the road. So
been terrible on the road, but it's a new season.
It's a new season. We'll get into that matchup Wednesday. The ACC title race, at least the teams going into the game, are solidified. It's going to be the Florida State Seminoles versus the Louisville Cardinals. Super bad news for Florida State. And this goes back to some quarterback play. We can just make a point about it and move on. They lost their star quarterback, but they were losing first quarter when he went down, and they still blew out the team they were supposed to blow out. That kid that they put in, he's still a Division I quarterback that was going to come in and be the man next year. He's just got to come in and be the man a little early this year.
Unless they signed a transfer.
Well, how much you think that's going to hold up? This will be what everybody's asking. Should the committee consider that this week when they do the rankings? And me and Bailey are going to say, heck no, right? They've earned their spot. And I still think they'll finish the season undefeated. They're a good team. That quarterback made them better, but the backup, he can play.
Listen, every team has injuries. Talk to the Tigers about injuries. I mean, the top 2 receivers coming back haven't played all year, basically.
Yeah. So it's tough to lose.
It's unfortunate for them.
I definitely hate it for the kid, and obviously his name escapes me right now, but finally, news in the ACC. Congrats to the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech for becoming bowl eligible for the first time since whenever. But you know what that gives?
Cool.
Yeah, that's good for them. And that gives them lots of energy. But you can get some energy by scanning this QR code and ordering you some Dubby energy mix or Dubby hydration mix, or go to dubby.gg and enter promo code FUNFANS for 10% off your Dubby energy drinks. Just a couple other games real quick. All the ranked teams won. Georgia looked good again. They did what they do. Ohio State, I think they look better. I think they've been getting better and better and better as the season has gone on. Michigan won, but not by much. And let's pause on Michigan. And I know the answer to this question, even though I hadn't asked it yet. Everybody knows that Harbaugh, they pulled out of the lawsuit. Speaking of lawyers and whatnot, does that mean that they're guilty?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the next question is, should the committee take that into consideration when they do the rankings? I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, let's just.
It's going to be settled. I know you always say it's going to be settled on the field, but here's the thing. In my opinion,
do they have proof that they cheated this year?
Okay, that's a good question. You're talking about from the committee standpoint.
I think that's a lot of this is stuff that's happened before.
Now,
if they had some kind of proof that this went on this year, but is it written down anywhere that you can't do that? Like, that's the question.
Apparently, it is. In the NCAA, they have broken a rule.
Then they need to vacate any wins they got while they were breaking the rules. Period.
There you go. Well, and then, like you say, if that's last year, fine. But if it's this year, that would mess up their playoff hopes.
Yeah, but see, we live in a world now where people don't like rules, and they want to change the rules when it applies. when a rule applies to them that they think is unfair, they want to change the rules.
That's exactly how, unfortunately, it works. One little caveat that I heard this morning: the people in Vegas are not going to like it, according to what I've been, and it makes sense. According to what these folks were saying, some other talking heads, the folks in Vegas, there's a lot of money that rides on the gambling of college football. And if they were cheating, that's a lot of money that's being quote unquote cheated. And the folks in Vegas are not going to like that, not one bit, if they do not get some sort of very stiff penalty, whatever that is. So, and Vegas has money talks. We'll see what happens with that. Speaking of, you got a new top 6, Bailey? I've been gone bringing my mother-in-law home from the hospital. I didn't type anything in to put on the screen.
Number 1, Clemson, tied with Georgia. All right. I'm going to go number 2, Ohio State, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to penalize Michigan for just barely beating Maryland. And I'm going to move. Actually, I'm really, Washington's pretty good, man.
They're pretty good.
And so we watched them last night, and they beat Oregon State on the road.
Yep.
And so I'm going to move them to 3 in my poll. And then we're going to go with Florida State 4 because they've done nothing. There's no reason they should not be in there. All right. And then 5, we're going to go with the experts are saying Texas is ahead of Oregon.
Wow.
But I don't know. I'm going to still go with Oregon. And then coming in at number 6 this week is going to be Liberty. They're 11-0.
You're a good proponent for the little guys, and I love it.
Dudes. Now, Jamie Chadwick's the coach at Liberty. He was at Coastal Carolina, right? There's only 2 coaches that have taken their school the first year to a conference championship game in the first year they were there. They've taken one school the year before and then take the new school the next year. Chadwell's one of them, and Braum at Louisville.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, without a doubt.
And he's a former
Maybe
Louisville quarterback.
needs to work on that. Well, I'm gonna, just little jabs are fun sometimes. Did I not say Wednesday something about App State and
yeah, you called it. Good call.
Yeah, that's
why Liberty can slide in at number 6 now.
Yeah. All right, I just had time to type mine in. I literally did it while Bailey was doing his. I still got Georgia at number 1, FSU at number 2, Ohio State number 3, Washington at number 4. But I'm taking Michigan out, just like what you said, for that kind of close win over Maryland. Maryland's not that good. If Michigan's supposed to be that good, plus if they're cheating, if they got caught last year, they were doing it this year, even if it was earlier in the year, and who knows? They've fired somebody. They've fined somebody. There's a couple people on their staff have got because of it. So in my opinion, they're out. They're out. And the team I'm putting in is Bama. Bama looks good. Bama looks like Bama. Bama is in my opinion, what I said about people don't want to play Clemson. None of these cats want to play Bama. They're all hoping Bama don't make it. They're all hoping that Georgia beats them because they don't want to play Bama. They
you got a problem if Bama beats Georgia.
Yeah.
The committee's got a problem.
that could be, they didn't just put them both in and let it all happen. But I think Oregon's really, really good, but I think Bama would beat them. So, and I think Bama's they're probably better than Washington. But to me, they're the number 5. And I'm putting them ahead of Texas, even though all that stuff happened earlier. Bama's gotten better. Texas kind of really hadn't. They've had some injuries, and they've just kind of hung in there some this season with a loss to Oklahoma. And so I'm all about Bama at number 5, which that still don't put them in right now. If these folks win, if those 4 teams that I have up there, Georgia, FSU, they can all finish undefeated and make it in, and that'll be what it is. So anyway, we'll see what the committee does tomorrow. We're moving our fun, not fun experiences to our show on Wednesday. So real quick, just a couple announcements. I know, Bailey, you've seen our basketball team's 4-0.
Yeah, I watched the game today. I've watched every game. This is the best Clemson team I've seen in a while. Okay,
Pretty good.
beating Boise State's a tournament team, and
Mhm.
we pulled away in the second half today, and we beat them pretty good. Boise State's good. Clemson has a lot of tools, and they've utilized the transfer portal. I mean, Joe Girard was the returning scorer in the ACC, and he leaves Syracuse and comes to Clemson, and he was filling it up today. But currently, the Clemson men's soccer team is up 2-0 against Charlotte in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Well, in the second round because Clemson got a bye.
Yeah.
And then the women's soccer team has moved on to the round of 8, the Elite 8.
Yes, there was a kickoff or shootout or whatever they call that stuff at the end, right? Yeah.
They won in penalty kicks.
Kicks. That's it. Penalty kicks. Yes. Football. All right. So it should be a very exciting basketball season coming up in Tiger Town. We will be back this Wednesday to talk about rivalry week, to talk about that game a little more against the Gamecocks, Clemson going down there at 7:30, and also talk about, how we're going to do an away version of some tailgating. And just want to throw this out there. As the season ends, we're going to start lining up some guests again. We were recently invited to be a part of the launch for the South Carolina chapter of the NFL alumni group, and that has plugged us into some, obviously, NFL folks, former Clemson folks. So we are looking at having some pretty good guests on the show here. Plus, we could have a national champion on here really, really soon. The Harvard girls rugby team. Bailey, I'm sure you kept up with this as well. The Harvard girls rugby team won the national championship this weekend.
Okay.
Are you aware? Okay.
I must have missed that. I didn't get an alert from ESPN.
Yeah, one of their freshmen is a graduate of my school and a friend of my daughter. So maybe we can get her on here, especially if she gets her ring, and that'll be kind of neat to women's rugby in the Ivy League, of course. But that was pretty cool. But you know what else is cool?
Diamond Edge products.
Yep.
No doubt about it. They're officially licensed partner with Clemson University. You can get all your high quality, everlasting, engraved anything from Diamond Edge products. Check them out at diamondedgeproducts.com or talk to Jaylin, Jaylin, at diamondedgeproducts.com. You can get you all your Clemson swag. Maybe a great time to order some things for the holiday season.
It is definitely time to order some stuff for holiday season. And it is time to calling into the show. It's a great show. Best tailgate ever. Look for more pictures on our social media. We're going to enjoy the win all week long, and we're going to practice saying rivalry week for our radio voices and everything. I don't like hate week. I'm just that guy.
Hate them.
I don't like the word. Hate's a strong word, but it's definitely rivalry week, and we look forward to
how many different ways I can cook chicken this week.
Yeah. And as we celebrate Thanksgiving, look for us Wednesday for that, for talking about breaking down the game and the Thanksgiving special. And we appreciate you checking us out each and every week. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fan Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow and share on all forms of social media, please. On behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, J Thriller Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Hey, special shout out to my son. He was dancing at the tailgate yesterday. Yes. That kid's got more moves than a military family. Go Tigers.
Yeah, I think my wife recorded it. We might have that on Wednesday's show.
Awesome. I have something for Wednesday that's going to be awesome.
Okay,
it's in the fun section.
I can't wait. All right.